Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jayong Vishnupad Paramhansha Paribrajukacharya Ashtuttar Shato Shri Srimad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayong Vishnupad Paramhansha Paribrajukacharya Ashtuttar Shato Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samabeto Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gaurango. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraya. So yesterday I mentioned that we'll discuss about the second verse of the first canto, first chapter today. It's a long verse and it seems they're having difficulty writing it. And so, and also since it's a long verse, I'll just read it through and you on your own try to memorize this verse. These few verses are very important. Say these first three verses of the first canto, first chapter are very important. So they are long verses, but try to memorize them. So the second verse goes like Dharma prajhita kaitava atra parama nirmat saranam satam Vedang Vastavamatra Vastu Shivadam Tapotrayan Unmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite King Ba Parir Isharo Sadda Riddhava Ruddhate Atra Kriti Bhi Shushushu Bhi Statkhanat. Good job. Anyway, so how many of you are going to memorize it? Once again, look and listen attentively. How many of you are going to memorize it? And how many of you decided not to memorize it? So everyone try to memorize this word. Okay. So I'll just go through the translation. This also has a long purport, so I'll just cover a part of the purport. Translation: completely rejecting all religious activities. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. The religious activities that are materially motivated, completely rejecting them, this Bhagavat Puran propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. So, listening, who can remember, who can understand Bhagavatam? Huh? I'm listening to you, but I'm not hearing anything. Okay, how many of you understood? Or raise your hand. Okay, Madhavendra Puri was the qualification. Very good. Those who are pure in heart. And what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Anybody? What is Srimad Bhagavatam? Yeah. Yeah, but rejecting what? They are materially motivated. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavat Puran propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. So how many of you want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam? So, are you going to endeavor to become qualified? What's the qualification to understand Srimad Bhagavatam? How many of you understood what are the qualifications of understanding Srimad Bhagavatam? Raise your hands. Very good. Very impressed. So we have to purify. Now the question is, how to purify your heart? How many of you know the secret of purifying your heart? Raise your hands, those who know. The secret of purifying your heart. Okay, Jaya? Very good. By chanting, did you say Hare Rama? Hare Rama. Anyway, either way, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram also. So that is the way. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. What does the chanting of the holy name do? The holy name purifies the heart. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhavo Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Do you want to become free from material suffering condition? So, just chant Hare Krishna. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. What is the highest truth? The highest truth distinguishes from illusion. Highest truth is a reality. Naturally, truth means real. Untruth means unreal. So reality, and what is the reality? There are two types of reality. One is a reflected reality. This material nature is a reflected reality. It is real, but it's real as a reflection. That is the difference between us and the impersonalists. The impersonalists say that this is mithya, this is false. But it's not false, it's not mithya, it's real. But it is a reflected reality. We are involved here in this reflection, and we are considering this to be real. But we are not able to get what we actually want from this. Like say, if you are very hungry and you see there is an apple tree full of apples. But if it's a reflection of the apple tree, will you be able to satisfy your hunger? Can you get the apple from the reflection? That is the problem. Because it's reflected reality, what we want we cannot get from here. Therefore, we are always dissatisfied. We are always discontent. We don't get what we want. We endeavor to get it. And even though it appears that we got it, but still it doesn't satisfy the heart. So in the reflection, you may even catch almost catch the apple. But can you eat that apple? No. So that is the material nature. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This kind of truth uproots the threefold miseries of material nature. How many of you know those threefold miseries of the material nature? Please raise your hand. Okay. How many of you don't know? हाथ उठाने को भूल गए हैं ना, क्या नहीं जानते हैं? हाँ, की व्यापार हाथ उठाओ नहीं क्या ना? Okay. Threefold miseries. What are the threefold miseries? How many of you don't know? Okay. So the threefold miseries are three types of miseries of the material nature. They are known in Sanskrit, they are known as Adhi Atmik, Adhi Bhautik, and Adhi Daivik. Now you remembered. Okay. Adhi Atmik means miseries caused by the body and mind. Adhi Bhautik, the miseries caused by other living entities. And Adhi Daivik, miseries caused by demigods, devas, that come in the form of natural calamities. That's caused by the demigods. So everyone in this world is subjected to these threefold miseries. So these are threefold miseries of the material nature. No one can avoid. The richest man, can he avoid the miseries? Say the richest man, all of a sudden his business collapses. What happens? He's miserable. Very wealthy, very powerful, very influential person, he contacted a terminal disease. What happens? Okay, very, very wealthy, very happy, very content person, and one day he gets the news that his son has become a drug addict. Or some dacoits come and kills his family members, robs all his property, all his wealth. Can it happen to the most happy person in this world, the wealthiest person in the world? Very happily situated, very nice family, beautiful home, very happily situated, healthy body, healthy mind. Then all of a sudden there is an earthquake and everything goes under the earth. Can it happen? Do they happen to people? Can anybody avoid these difficulties? I remember one of the richest men of India at that time. Not one, he was the richest person in India. Birla. He went out on a morning walk in London and he had a heart attack. He had a massive heart attack and he left his body lying on the gutter. He fell on the gutter, left his body. So, do things like that happen? So that is the material nature. Threefold miseries. And everyone is subjected to these threefold miseries. But it says that when one becomes aware of this absolute truth, then he becomes free from the threefold miseries. This knowledge, this truth uproots the threefold miseries of material existence. Now, is it true? The understanding the absolute truth relieves one from the threefold miseries. Does it happen? Yeah. How does it happen? Because he transcends his bodily platform. These threefold miseries are pertaining to the material body. So when one's consciousness is beyond this material body, then he becomes free from this suffering condition of this material nature. Example, yesterday also I gave that example, that when one is having an open heart surgery. How many of you had open heart surgery here? Mukunda Hari, you are the only one. It's very good. So you are the only fortunate soul. So, and we are discussing about that. What does open heart surgery do? It cuts your ribs. And it kind of opens up your chest. Can you imagine? Your chest is wide open, the whole thing is cut, and then they operate the heart. So I asked Mukunda Hari whether he felt anything about it. How did he feel? He said he didn't know what happened, whether anything happened to him. Question, why not? Somebody opened up his heart. Can you imagine if somebody even pricks a pin in your heart, how will you feel? Huh? You feel so painful. And here the entire heart is opened up, the chest is opened up, the chest is, the ribs are pulled wide open, and they are cutting your heart. Why didn't he feel anything? Why not? Any idea? Yes, because of anesthetics. Because he was anesthetized. What does anesthetics do? What does anesthetics do? How many doctors are here? Ganganarayan? How does anesthetics do? Very good. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Anesthetics blocks the activities of the nerve. Nerves actually carry the sense perceptions. All the nerves are ending in different senses. And they carry the impressions or the message that the senses are receiving into the brain. So that is why we feel. Now when the nerves, anesthetics, what they do, they just block the activities of the nerves. So no senses are carried. Therefore, there is no perception. Although the heart is cut, the chest is cut open, the ribs are. There is another surgeon here. He didn't raise his hand. Otherwise, Sunil Mohan. He is cutting all the time from morning to night. He is a surgeon. But do your patients scream, Sunil Mohan? Did you ever hear any of your patients screaming? Why not? Again, anesthetized. Because the senses, the perceptions are carried by the nerves, and when the nerves are not carrying senses, then you don't. Now, the nerves are actually carrying the senses of the body. It is through the nerves that we are in body consciousness. And artificially, the anesthetics stop the activities of the nerves, and therefore there is no perception of the body. Now, when one sees the absolute truth, then where is his consciousness? What do we call this? Krishna consciousness. Our process is known as Krishna consciousness. So, where is the consciousness? Consciousness is in the body or in Krishna. So when consciousness is in Krishna, then the body consciousness is there? No. So that is why what happens to the body, they don't register. It is not that things don't happen to the body. Things do happen to the body, but they don't register it. They don't feel it. That is the difference. Okay, so I said threefold miseries, right? Say, your consciousness is fixed on Krishna, then will your ears hear? When your consciousness is shifted to Krishna, will your ears hear? So if somebody comes and tells you that you received $10 million, and if you don't hear, will it make any difference to you? Or if somebody comes and tells you, you lost all your money, and if you don't hear, will it make any difference to you? When your consciousness is there and you have some acute pain in your stomach, will you register the pain? At that time, if somebody comes and insults you in a bad way, calling you all kinds of names, will you hear? Okay, Adhi Atmik. Right? Your consciousness is not there in your body, and somebody comes and pricks a needle in your body. Will you feel it? A mosquito bites you. Will you feel it? A tiger comes and eats up your hand. Will you feel it? No. Adhi bhautik. Your consciousness is not there in your body, and it is 55 degree centigrade heat. Will you feel it? There's a heat wave, or there is a cold wave, minus 55 degree. Will you feel it? So that's the thing. Trita tapotrayan unmulanam. Why? Because the consciousness has been shifted to somewhere else. The consciousness is not in the body anymore. Therefore, there is no consciousness of pleasure or pain. Ultimately, it's just a matter of pleasure and pain. That's about the only thing that we know. Either it's pleasing to our body or painful to our body. So tapotrayan unmulanam, all right? By seeing the absolute truth, such truth uproots the threefold miseries. The beautiful Bhagavatam compiled by the great sage Vasudev in his maturity is sufficient in itself for God realization. This Bhagavatam, which has been compiled by Srila Vasudev, is sufficient in itself for God realization. How many of you want to realize God? And what is the best way to realize Him? Read Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the reality, this is the mystery, this is the secret. Read Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll understand Krishna perfectly. What is the need of any other scriptures? So when you have this Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the need of any other scriptures? Just this scripture is good enough. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached with these two books only. He had only these two books. He taught, his basis of his teachings was on these two books. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary understanding, preliminary study of God realization. Srimad Bhagavatam is the advanced study of God realization. As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. As soon as one submissively hears the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, then the Lord becomes established within his heart, meaning the Lord appears in his heart. The Lord manifests himself in his heart. So study Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna will appear in your heart. So now we'll just read part of the purport. Religion includes 4 primary subjects, namely pious activities, economic development, satisfaction of the senses, and finally liberation from material bondage. How many of you know the Sanskrit term for these 4 things? Mukunda Hari? Dharma, Artha, Kam and Moksha. So, Dharma, Prabhupada is translated here as pious activities. Because this acting according to Dharma here means the laws given by the Lord. Lord actually gives us the direction, understanding how to act, how one should act. How to act. And when one acts properly, then he gets piety. What is piety? Piety is wealth. Piety means credit in your account. And sin is debit in your account. When you have credit, your bank balance goes up, right? That's to your credit. So by pious activities, you increase your bank balance. And through sinful activities, you exhaust your bank balance. You know how it happens? Say, for example, somebody steals. Stealing means taking something without the permission of the person, or taking something without paying the price. Isn't it stealing? So when one steals, there are higher authorities who are watching. Is anyone watching all our activities? Yes. The demigods are watching our activities. And they are making calculations. Oh, you stole, you paid, you didn't pay them price? Okay, minus to your credit. You have some credit, there is a credit card there. Although you are not paying here, the credit card is charged there in the heavenly planet. And you did something good, oh, demigods are watching, okay. That is credit to your account. That is debited, and this is pious activities that are adding to the credit, and sinful activities subtracting from the credit. When you do something wrong without paying the price, minus, minus, minus. So, do you want to take something without paying the price? Now? And not only you'll pay there, you'll have to pay there with the fine. So when you know that, would you ever like to do that? No. So that is the intelligent thing to do. So dharma, acting properly, gives one the credit. And when you have a lot of bank balance, then what happens? When you have a lot of asset, lot of bank balance, then you can go and buy whatever you want. Okay, I like this car. How much? 3 crores rupees. A Rolls Royce. Okay. You have hundreds of crores in your account. Does it matter to pay 3 crores? So that's what actually happens on a subtle sense. You have so much wealth there, and you desire. Well, it's a nice thing, I wish I had that. Immediately, it is delivered to your doorstep. So this is how piety is actually subtle wealth. An intelligent person do not really care so much about the gross wealth, which is money. Nowadays we are seeing, it is becoming subtle. Like nowadays nobody carry a purse. I remember when we were young, our back pocket where we used to keep the money bag, everybody's back pocket was swollen. But nowadays nobody carries a purse on his back, hip pocket. What he carries is a credit card. So he goes, buys something, okay, here's the credit card. Especially in the West, don't you do that all the time? Do you carry money to buy the things in the shop? No, credit card. So similarly, there is a credit card there, more subtle. And who is keeping the account there? There, in that one, you don't really have to keep the accounts. The demigods are keeping the accounts. So that is why calm, artha leads to calm. What is calm? Calm means material enjoyment. What is material enjoyment? Material enjoyment is fulfillment of desire. Don't you feel happy when your desire is fulfilled? Oh, I wished I had this. I wish I had this. And when you get it, how do you feel? Oh, I wish I had that. So a happy man is he who can very easily fulfill his desires in the material sense. But ultimately, in spite of all the enjoyment, what one understands. Ultimately, one understands that this is a place for suffering. I'm suffering. No matter whatever I do, no matter how much I endeavor to enjoy, I'm suffering. And then he realizes what this is a place for suffering. So do you want to stay in a place for suffering? If there is a fire in the house, do you want to stay in that house? What do you want to do? You want to get out of the house immediately, because you know if you stay there, you'll suffer. So similarly, when you recognize that this is a place for suffering, what are you naturally going to do? Get out of here. So that is what? Moksha, liberation. So these are the four four activities. The culture of knowledge, Prabhupada is saying, the religion includes four primary subjects, namely pious activities, economic development, satisfaction of the senses, and finally liberation from material bondage. So that is religious life. An irreligious life is a barbarous condition. Indeed, human life begins when religion begins. Eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating are the four principles of animal life. These are common both to animals and to human beings. But religion is the extra function of the human being. Without religion, human life is no better than animal life. Therefore, in human societies, there is some form of religion which aims at self-realization, and which makes reference to man's eternal relationship with God. So, the ultimate ultimate form of religion is to develop our relationship, eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, what should be the ultimate goal of life? The ultimate goal of life should be to develop our relationship with Krishna, and which begins with self-realization. Self, who are we? Who are we? What is the answer? What is the proper answer? Common answer is, I am this body. I am the son of the person who gave me this body. I belong to the family in which this body appeared. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hare. So this is how we have to become situated in our eternal religion, in our constitutional position, what we are. We are from the spiritual world, therefore we have to go back to the spiritual world, and only when we do that we'll become perfectly satisfied. Okay, thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Does anybody have any question?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. As you explained that pious activities and impious activities, Guru Maharaj, my question is, when one person performing impious activities, suppose if he perform pious activities also on the other hand, so that can be neutralized?
It does to some extent, but it cannot fully neutralize. Like various examples have been given in that respect. Like there is a tree, you cut the tree, but if the root of the tree is there, then the tree will grow again, right? That's one example that has been given. Like nullifying the sinful activities with pious activities are like cutting the branches of the trees. It seems that you have cut it, but then it will grow again. Right? Acha. Another thing is, you see, the karmic reactions are like a tree that grows from one reaction, one karmic action. There is one reaction. From one seed, a tree comes up. Right? In the tree, there are many other fruits, many fruits. In the fruits, there are seeds. In the seeds, there are trees. So when the seeds fall on the ground, other trees will come up. Now in those trees, there are seeds, fruits and seeds. So this is how it becomes impossible to deal with. Like the trees are growing. You see, you may cut one tree, but 25,000 fruits have already gone out, right, with the seeds in them. So how are you going to deal with them? So by the time you cut 25,000, 5,600 trees have already come up. So that's why it's so difficult to deal with. But what Krishna consciousness does is aptaputran unmulanam. The threefold miseries, the suffering condition, the karmic reactions are uprooted. When the tree is uprooted, then there is no possibility for the trees to grow. The seeds are there, but if the tree's seeds are fried, will they fructify? So Krishna consciousness fries all those seeds, right? So that is why Krishna consciousness is the only way to become free from all sinful reaction. As Krishna says, aham tang sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami. You surrender unto me and I will free you from all your sinful reactions. Right?
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, is there any relationship between our brain substance and mind? Because like someone is having...
Yeah. Mind is there and brain is the seat. Right? Brain is the seat on which the mind is sitting. You get the point? The mind is not brain. Because the brain may be dead. The seat may be broken. but the mind can still be there. Mind continues to be there. All right?
How does one remember, his previous life, like someone is...
Don't worry about it. Na sochati na kankshati. Just remember Krishna and surrender to Him and keep on cultivating Krishna consciousness. Kirti, take the mic.
Guru Maharaj, you mentioned about the threefold miseries, and then you mentioned as well that when you transcend them, that you're no longer in the bodily conception of life. So that is when you're in Krishna
Or rather
consciousness.
the other way around.
Okay.
When you are situated in spiritual life, then you are not in the bodily concept of life, and
Yes.
therefore you have transcended threefold misery.
Okay, Guru Maharaj, thank
Okay.
you. So where is the consciousness? So let's say
Where is the?
let's say that you perceive and you feel miseries either coming from the body, mind, from others, or from demigods, but at the same time, by Krishna's mercy, you gain some ability to tolerate them. So where is your
You
consciousness?
gain some
Because
ability to?
to tolerate,
To tolerate,
and
okay.
continue your duty. So is your consciousness then, it's still on the bodily platform, but somewhere it is also in Krishna consciousness to some degree. Like, where is the consciousness?
So what's your question?
Like, is there a gray area? Or is it either it's bodily conception, your consciousness is projected there, or it is in Krishna consciousness? Because if you still perceive or feel trouble, but
Yeah, I get it. I get your point. Yeah, as you mentioned, the gray area. Gray area means like you are neither in darkness nor in light. Right? Just twilight zone. Okay? So, at that time, you have the understanding. You are not this body. You understand that this concept of pleasure and pain is pertaining to the body. So intellectually you grasp it. But you are still feeling the pain because the consciousness is still in the body, not fully shifted there to Krishna. So at that time, yes, you go through that, but do not become so badly affected as a person who is fully in his body consciousness. And as you said, at that point you learn to tolerate it. It has come, it has happened, so what? What to do? Let's tolerate it. Right? Tang stitik shasya bharata. That stage, Krishna is saying, Tang stitik shasya bharata. Just tolerate it.
So that is also a level of trying to develop is that also trying to developing your Krishna consciousness? When you learn to tolerate by Krishna's mercy, or you see it as Krishna's mercy, whatever is happening to you?
It is because of your Krishna consciousness that you are tolerating it with the knowledge. Right?
Guru Maharaj, I have one more small question, if you allow. It is mentioned, you mentioned that what is the need of any other scripture? We have Srimad Bhagavatam. So I heard somewhere that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that if he could choose, I don't know if I heard it properly, that he would choose Chaitanya Charitamrita. Could you please explain?
Yeah. So this personified Bhagavat is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is a higher study. It's a more advanced stage. In the sense, you see, like in Bhagavatam, you are getting it theoretically. And through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are seeing it practically. So Bhagavatam become personified in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah.
Thank you, Guru.
This one, no name. It came from you? Oh, very nice. You have a nice handwriting. Nimai. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. As I learnt in Krishna consciousness that the movement of living entity develops a desire to enjoy independent of Krishna. It enters into material nature under false conception of as an enjoyer and proprietor, and as a result the intelligence gets affected by these modes of nature, and subsequently mind becomes material. As a result, incessant material desires bind soul into material whirlpool. Since sense objects enters into mind in the form of desires, and it seems difficult to separate it from material mind. So question is, what is the hope for one, what one should do to intensify his or her purification to release from this nasty suffering situation? The question is, what is the hope for one? What should one do to intensify to purification to release from the nasty suffering situation? Whether one should intensify to purify intelligence by religious. What is SBG? Okay. Or go for more chanting. Well, as you say, the question is, how does one, what is the hope? The hope is the holy name, and at the same time hearing and chanting, chanting is important and hearing is important. Both are important. Right? Reading Bhagavatam is hearing. Right? And the thing is that we can approach this question in this way. Say, you mentioned chanting and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Like, of these two, which one is more effective? Right? Okay, what about a person who is illiterate? Consider his case. What should he do? He can't read. Can he read Bhagavatam? Does it mean he's hopeless? No? Then what's the hope? Right. So in that sense, chanting is important, but not only chanting, hearing. He may be illiterate, but he can sit in a Bhagavatam class and hear. So that is how he'll get the benefit. So both are important, hearing and chanting. Ananda, give him the mic.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. My question is, why do we have to suffer the consequences of negative actions in society, such as, for example, natural calamities and things like that, which occur if it's a reaction from things like cow slaughter or something? Why do I have to suffer that?
Because it is the reaction of your sinful activities. You see, natural calamity is taking place because of the massive reaction. You see, when the collective reaction, collective sinful activities, reach certain point, then the demigods take action. Right? They have their way of doing it. They bring all the sinful personalities in one area, and just one earthquake taken care of. Right? So it's not that why do I have to suffer the natural calamities? Rather, the natural calamities are happening because of your sinful activities. It's not happening just by chance. We have some questions. Acha, the mic was here. Did anybody have a question? Yeah, Devavati?
Hare Krishna. Kumar, you spoke about God realization, self-realization, pious activities and impious activities. So, just to understand more on this matter, Kumar, we see in India especially, Krishna is worshipped as a demigod. So when people do that, does that fructify as a pious activity, or does that sow a seed of devotional service in their heart?
Yeah, it is pious activity. Because until he recognizes Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, it won't be seen as, it won't become spiritual activity. He'll get some pious benefit. Because, after all, he is abiding by the law, and as a result of that law, he is getting some benefit. Yes, give her the mic. माइक नहीं चल रहा है.
हरे कृष्णा गुरु महाराज जी, आपने कल और आज बहुत अच्छी से समझा के बताया कि अगर हम श्रीमद् भागवतम को अच्छी से ध्यानपूर्वक और विनम्र भाव से सुनेंगे या पढ़ेंगे तो वो ज्ञान हमारे अंदर जाएगा. तो मेरा प्रश्न ये था कि विनम्र भाव यानी क्या, वो मेरे अंदर मैं कैसे लाऊं जब भी मैं भागवतम पढ़ूं या फिर सुनूं, जो शिक्षाएं में वो मेरे अंदर जाएंगी.
नहीं, मैं समझा नहीं. बाद में क्या बोला? भागवतम पढ़ेगा या सुनेगा?
हाँ, जैसे आपने कल कहा था कि हम विनम्र भाव से और सुनेंगे और पढ़ेंगे तो ज्ञान हमारे अंदर जाएगा. तो
Guru Maharaj, she wants to say that you told that if we read Bhagavatam with patience and proper mood, then Krishna will manifest in our heart. So she is saying that how we can get that mood.
How can you can get that mood?
Yes. Of humbleness.
How can we develop that mood? Well, by reading and hearing, you'll understand what Bhagavatam will give you. Then your faith will become stronger. समझे हो? हाँ, ऐसे भागवतम पढ़ते रहना, भागवतम सुनते रहना, तो जैसे जितना पढ़ोगे, जितना सुनोगे, उतना ही याद आएगा कि भागवतम पाठ करने से, भागवतम सुनने से फायदा क्या होता है. तो जैसे ही तुम्हें मालूम पड़ेगा फायदा क्या होता है, तब तुम लाभ उठाने के लिए कोशिश करते रहोगे. ठीक है. ऐसे श्रद्धा, बात यह है कि श्रद्धा, तो श्रद्धा कैसे उत्पन्न होता है, श्रद्धा कैसे आती है. श्रद्धा आती है विश्वास के आधार पर. ये करने से ये होगा, तो इसलिए ये करना चाहिए. भागवतम पाठ करने से, भागवतम ध्यान पूर्वक सुनने से ये फायदा होगा, तो इसलिए तुम सुनने के लिए और भी उत्सुक बन जाते हो. ठीक है. Okay, some questions from the internet. Let's see. The first one is from Jayesh from Kolkata. Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances at your lotus feet. The ultimate perfection of hearing is when we don't have any consciousness in our body. Does it mean that unless we reach the stage of perfection, that stage of perfection, our hearing will not produce desired result of Krishna Bhakti? Will that kind of forgetfulness about the body happen by attentive or submissive hearing that I am trying to do? Okay, you see, it is a matter of two ways. One is towards matter and the other is towards Krishna. One is this external nature and the other is Krishna's internal nature. So it is not a matter of consciousness, not having the consciousness of the body. Like you can be attentive in hearing even when you are in body consciousness. It is not that to indulge in attentive hearing, you have to get out of your body consciousness. No, that is not the point. Does it mean that unless we reach the stage of perfection, our hearing will not produce desired result of Krishna Bhakti? Not necessarily. Because if you say that you don't have any desired result, then the consideration is, then what's the hope? What's the hope? If it is that we have to become perfect, then only our hearing will have effect. Then the question is, how do we become perfect? How do we reach perfection? So the point here is that Bhagavatam, hearing Krishna Katha, is the means as well as the end. You hear, by hearing you get purified, and then you get transported to the spiritual world, and there also you continue to hear. And don't worry about the forgetfulness of the body, rather engage the body in the service of Krishna. Don't forget the body. Remember that you have the body, but remember that you have to engage this body in serving Krishna. You are forgetful of your body when you are in deep sleep. Does it make you Krishna conscious? No. Okay, next question is from Prashant, Mayapur base. Oh, I thought it's from Mayapur. Mayapur base, Bhopal. Very good. Very good, Prashant. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. So many times I am trying to control my mind, but I have no determination to control it. When I go outside, at that time, so many unnecessary thoughts come in my mind. How can I develop my determination? Okay, that you are recognizing that it is happening, that itself is a good sign. Now, if you realized that your mind is not being controlled or being uncontrollable and all kinds of undesirable thoughts are coming to your mind, I will say that itself is a good sign. That itself is a sign of sincerity. So you continue in this way, and mind you, this is happening because you have come to Krishna consciousness. You are thinking in this way, you are becoming conscious of your shortcomings because you have come to Krishna consciousness and because you are practicing the process of Krishna consciousness. So at this point, what you need to do is just continue to practice the process. And in course of time, you will get the desired result. Don't worry about it. Thank you, Prashant. So next question is Ravi from Dallas. If we don't have pure hearts, when we start to read or hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, if we are still trying to be sincere, will our hearts become purer? Yes. Even the point is, I will answer your question, Ravi, in this way, that there is dirt in the room. Now, when you start cleaning the room, still some dirt is there, although you are cleaning. It's not that the moment you start cleaning, all the dirt will disappear. It's a process through which you have to sweep the dust. And when you do that, then the dirt start to get cleansed. The dirty room starts to get cleansed. So just practice the process. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, reading of Srimad Bhagavatam or hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam is going to pure your heart. And if you do it sincerely, naturally, at some point, your heart will become purified completely. Okay, so I'll stop now. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Okay, last question. Take the mic.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, thank you for the class. I just wanted to ask about the previous Mataji's question, whether I understood it correctly. Is it that one develops faith by just the desire for faith? Is it one develops faith by the desire for faith?
By the desire to?
For faith, for Shraddha.
Yeah. Yeah, desire to?
One develops faith by just to have the desire to obtain the faith.
Yeah, right. You like you develop faith in the process and you practice and the result comes, right? And like for example, if you don't have faith, will you practice it? If you don't practice, will you get any result? So if you want to get the result, then what do you have to do?
Practice.
Practice with faith. But Prabhupada is also saying that just practice the process. With faith, no faith doesn't matter. Just practice the process. And Prabhupada gave the example of taking the medicine. Even if you do not know what the medicine is going to do, but if you take the medicine, will it cure the disease? Yes. Right? Similarly, the process of Krishna consciousness is the medicine. Practice it, and the result will be there. Chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 principles, right? And the result will be there. Whether you have faith or not. But faith will have its necessary benefit. And gradually the faith will develop. Say for example, you're taking the medicine and you start to get cured, you start feeling better. Will your faith in the medicine develop? Then you will say, okay, yeah, I have to take the medicine because it works. So similarly, initially you may start without faith, but as you practice and get the results, your faith will develop. It will happen naturally. Okay?
Thank you, Guru.
Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shamaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare.